Hi everyone! Today I will show you how I buy gold-plated watches for gold recovery. Let's start. First of all, where I find these watches? Mostly I find them on flea markets. Sometimes I also buy gold-plated watches, eBay, auctions, but mostly flea markets. I really want physically to touch and see the watches before buying them for gold recovery. Because pictures many times are misleading. If you use a magnifying glass, you can see the defects, you can assess the gold plating thickness, and you can get a lot of information. That's what I will do now. I'll show you what I look at, how I decide should I buy or not a watch, and what are my expectations from the amount of gold in each of these cases. Let's start. Let's start with this one. This is a Swiss-made ladies' watch. Gold plating not only on the case, but also additional one on the outer surface here. You can see, not inside, just outside. But how to understand what is the thickness of this gold plating? First, search for a mark on top of the case. And here I find this mark. It says gold plated 10 microns, which means we have 10 microns gold plating on top of the base metal of this case. For such a watch this size, this means 0.1, 0.15 grams of gold, including this one here. Good catch, I can say, if you buy it cheaply. Let's check the second one. Another Swiss one, ladies. Not that much gold like the first one, but let's check for some marks on top. I don't see here, and the second place I search for such marks is here. And here I find gold plaque G10. This corresponds to 10 microns, same as the first one, 10 microns of gold plating, usually electrolytically or otherwise applied on top of a base metal. This one will give me at about 0.1 gram of gold. Such small ladies' watch, 10 microns plated, usually gives, luckily, 0.12, in a bad case, 0.08 grams of gold. So in average, 0.1. Let's check one more. This is a small German ladies' watch. And what is the difference between the previous two? This one is not in that good condition. Some gold here on top is missing, if you carefully look closer to this one. So, no marks about the gold plating. I checked here, I checked everywhere, nothing written. That's, in such cases, I use my magnifying glass and I checked the gold plated watch case for defects. It's really important to find a place where the gold is missing. That's how you can assess the thickness of the gold layer. For this one, I found such a place, and it's clear that we have a physical, visible layer of gold at about 0.5, maybe a little bit more microns. But considering the size of the case, the fact that it was used a lot and some gold is missing, and the thickness of the layer, I can say that this one it can give us probably less than 0.1 gram of gold, but it's a good one. Look at this huge ladies' watch. Looks phenomenal. Shiny, gold. I checked everywhere, trust me, for some kind of mark. I checked on the side, I checked usually for this, you have some mark here on the lock, nothing. So, what I did next, I checked under my magnifying glass and I found defects. And I was really disappointed, because these defects were telling me that this gold plating is probably less than is less than 5 microns, which means that all these huge gold plated watch, if I'm lucky, will give me 0.1 gram of gold, no more. But looks phenomenal, that's why don't get fooled. Shiny, yellowish doesn't mean good, not always. And the next one is this pretty old Russian, actually it's not Russian, it's Soviet Union watch Zarya. I looked really carefully everywhere. I saw that it was used quite a long time, and in certain areas the gold is missing. And here I found the gold mark. It says AU, which means gold. But unfortunately it's only AU. For the Soviet Union watches we have mark that starts with AU and then continues with a number. It can be only AU, this means 5 less than 5 microns. It can be AU5, say this is 5 microns, 10, 12.5, 20, and the number means what is the thickness of the gold layer. Is it 5, 10, 12.5, 20 microns? So this one, 0.1 gram of gold. Nothing impressive. The first man watch. Let's look at it. Swiss made. I don't know the brand, but carefully looking, I found here on the side, on this one, saying Plaque G10, which means 10 microns gold plating on this watch. 0.15, 0.2 grams of gold, easy from this one. And it's a good one. Let's now see a bad example. This is a bad example. If you carefully look at the case of this watch, you see that gold is missing maybe 50% of the case. You see the base metal, not gold plating. Like here, it's really visible here. So this watch was used a lot, and from the skin and from the clothes, most of the gold was scrapped from the surface. That's why when you buy, you have to buy this for 50 cents or for nothing. Just take it for free. Otherwise, you may not earn anything from this type of watch. So I checked for marks. It says P5, which is 5 microns. Just imagine, so thin layer, 5 microns, and most of the gold is missing. So if you recover 0.05 grams of gold from this, you must be really lucky. Probably it will be less. Let's go to another one. Not that impressive, really small, nice Swiss watch. If you turn it back, surprise, it's yellow. In many videos on YouTube, you'll see people saying that when you see a yellow back, it means it's gold made. Not always. This is a good example why this yellow backlit doesn't mean solid gold. In this case, you see defects. Gold is missing, and the skin was rubbing here and scratching, and gold disappeared on these edges. On top, if you carefully look on the case, you will find written here plaque, which means gold plating. It doesn't mean solid gold. If it's solid gold, here on the backlit usually you'll see 14 karat or 585 the gold content, etc. So this one is gold plated. Yes, really thick gold plating. You can see a picture magnified. You see the gold layer. It looks phenomenal. But this can give you 0.15, 0.2 grams of gold, not 2 grams. Don't get fooled, because the backlit is yellow. Another small ladies watch, Swiss made, really good quality, really good gold plating, Plaque G10, 0.1 gram of gold. This is interesting one. It's a German one, made in Germany. Our old gold usually corresponds to better quality gold plating, which for such size and so for so much gold plating is telling me that most probably this is 0.2, 0.3 grams of gold hidden here, waiting for me to recover. Sometimes I buy not watches but cases, parts of the cases or whole cases, like this one here. So this one has no mark, but I already checked these defects and I saw that it's a good gold plating, probably above 5 microns, and it can easily give me 0.1 gram of gold, so I bought it for €1, which is good. I will earn €5, so that's fine. Another small watch. This one is Swiss made, ladies watch, same as many other that I already showed you. It has a nice Plaque G10 mark on the side. It's written here. And it's another 0.1 gram of pure gold after I processed this small watch. Last one. So this is a good example of how sometimes even what is written on top of the case can be misleading. So first you check what is written here and you see gold filled, and you say, wow, gold filled means 5% of this case should be made of pure gold. Usually such a case is 20 grams, which means 1 gram of pure gold. No way. That's great catch. But after that you see 20 microns. So, and looking closer to the case itself, you see that actually it's a 20 micron gold plating on top. It's not solid gold applied on top. So in the best case, this will give us 0.2, 0.3 grams of gold. It will not give us 1 gram of gold, I'm sure. That's why you should really carefully read and check, and also examine with your magnifying glass the case for defects, because these defects are telling you more than what is written. They're showing you the physical thickness of the gold layer. And getting more and more experience, you will start reading this thickness of the gold layer easier and quicker than what is written on the case. So, one general conclusion at the end. As you can see, I mostly buy ladies' watches. I buy ladies' watches because market for them is, no one is buying them as a watches. There is a market for men watches, but for ladies' watches almost no market. So that's why I really cheaply buy the ladies' watches, and I find decent amount of gold, usually at about 0.1, 0.15 grams of gold in each of them. Another key point. Always check the watches you buy. Maybe it's expensive mechanism, maybe this is an expensive watch. Check the prices on eBay, check the prices, post pictures, some forums, ask people. If you have valuable watch, you may sell for hundreds of US dollars. No need to destroy a watch that has really high price for 0.1 gram of gold. These were the two last advices I wanted to give you from my experience. Thanks for watching, keep scrapping, and before breaking any watches, always check them. Bye!